States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Okay, hey, so need to approve the agenda. Any changes or additions? No. Okay,
Thank you. Approved.
Second.
okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Okay, approve the minutes of December 4th.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay,
Second.
okay, we got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, motion carries. Okay, approve the claims.
They're kinda high.
I know it.
General, I had $602,507.25. 602,507.25. Drainage, 23,964.10. 23964.10.
Oh, shit, we done.
410.
Sorry. Okay, I'm used to looking at the back and not the front for drainage. 23. 964.10. Okay. Did we get a second?
I'll second.
Okay.
Just-
okay.
You wanna explain where a lot of that went? There was a couple of
We could ask Ben.
pieces of equipment. It wasn't like we were out shopping.
Right, right.
Been waiting to pay on, and so
Okay.
they
Ben, you
came.
want to say what equipment you got? You know more
so-
detail than I do.
The excavator from Hardy that was delivered the end of October, the bill for that came, because the remaining attachments should be showing up this week. We're waiting on the HELAC, the swivel coupler that goes on the end of the stick. The Mack dump truck bill also came in. That truck is at highway truck right now, has been for about a month. Getting equipment put on. We should be seeing that truck here about the end of this month. And then we purchased emergency management's Kubota side by side.
Oh, okay.
They're upgrading theirs. And they gave us a really good deal on purchasing that, so.
No, we don't have
You've
to
used that in
pay
the
some.
past, haven't you?
Yeah, we've
That's what I
used it in
thought,
the
yeah.
past. We use it, get down in the ditch. That's how our guys are cutting a lot of trees, checking culverts, inspecting intakes.
It'll get a few more hours on it now,
It'll get quite a few more hours.
because it didn't have a whole lot of hours on it, did it?
No.
Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm.
Perfect.
Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, motion carried. Okay, all right. General public concerns. You're up, Barb, if you want to talk now.
Okay, I don't have to stand up.
No, you don't have to stand. You can just be right where you're at.
I'm Barb Nelson. I've lived here for about 35 years and then I've eaten many, many lunches in the car with my husband by the river or the lake, and it was very beautiful at the time, but I think we all have seen it just start dwindling and dwindling, and I think it's the river. I belong to a lot of conservation groups and environmental groups and stuff, and I'm really concerned about, what's happening there. And I think what's happened is, it's a river and it's been dammed up for a long time trying to be a lake. But I think so much silt has just washed up and built up behind that. And I think we all know that it's just struggling right now. And I think if the dam was removed, which I know that's not a popular thing, but either options are gonna cost money. But I think if the dam was removed, we would have it go back to be a healthy river again and keep things washed, downstream and keep it clean. And I think it would be a wonderful place for people, and there's a lot of people that canoe and kayak anymore. In fact, I've been down some, rivers, up by Decorah and around. But I think that would, and that possibly could bring in revenue, I don't know just what, but any option that we have to do is going to be costly, that, you know, the county. But that's why I'm asking that. I think this should go to a vote of county taxpayers. I mean, I think, you know, there's several people that are really pushing the idea for the dam to be rebuilt and but I think its time has passed. And it's time to let that be a river again. And I just think that people need to vote on it, the taxpayers of Humboldt County. And rather than just, you know, I mean, not that I don't have faith in you people, but I think everyone needs to, you know, get in on what happens to the dam, rather than just a few. So that's about all I came to say today.
All right.
I had called Sandy and I was
Yep.
telling her, like, and she said, well, why don't you come? And I said, oh, dear.
You're doing a great job, thank you.
Yes, yes,
Thank you.
yep.
Okay.
It's
well,
good to hear from everybody.
it's just, yeah, it's just for your consideration, and it's sad when you go down there and look at what's happening, you know?
Mhm.
And a lot of dams like this that are no longer really, did they used to use it for hydropower?
Yes.
I thought that was, but, there are a lot of small dams around the country that are being removed now to let rivers become rivers again. And, so that's basically all I wanted to give my opinion.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. We
Okay.
always like it when people come and other county, because otherwise we don't know everything of what's.
Okay, okay.
what's being said.
Uh-huh.
So
All
thank you,
right,
Barb.
Thank you.
All right.
I can leave
you.
now.
Yes. you can. All right. Committee reports. We're down to that already. Is there anything else that I missed?
Don't see anything on the paper,
Okay.
no other citizens.
I could give you guys an update on Murray Bridge.
Oh,
Sure.
okay, yeah. Oh, that's right.
So Humboldt County was one of 7 counties selected to apply for a raise grant to the feds. I've had 2 meetings last week on it. They selected, or we selected HDR as the engineering firm that will represent the 7 counties that will write the grant proposal for the 7 counties. It'll cost us roughly 20,000 will be our portion of the fees for writing that report. And if selected, we'll end up getting up to another $2.7 million towards the replacement of Murray Bridge.
Would be awesome.
That 2.7 is based on if the costs continue to go up, it's added another 25% on top of that estimated 5 million, so. If prices go through the roof, we're covered on that aspect. It's an 80% federal match. So the county's got to find 20%, which would then save them local money for that.
Mhm.
But instead of having to cover 2 to 3 million on the local side, we could get by with only having to save about 1 million.
Wow.
So, what you will be seeing coming here probably next week will be a 5-year program amendment where I move Murray Bridge from fiscal year 28 to fiscal year 7.
That 5-year.
To bring it forward into the 4-year STIP. So our 5-year, we do a 5-year program, but the feds only see 4 years of it, which they call the STIP.
Okay.
So we have to move that into 27 so that the feds can see that project is there. And while I'm doing that, I'll also add the culvert replacement in the town of Thor that we're doing. We had it scheduled out of our 5-year program, and it was just scheduled with the DOT's 4-year STIP program. But when it got scheduled, it was scheduled as a VR swap project, meaning the city would have to fund the full amount of the project and then get reimbursed by the state. Well, the city doesn't have $170,000 to fund this project. So talking to the DOT, talking to Midas, they said, just schedule it on your 5-year program, since you guys are the ones doing the design and the inspection and everything else. You guys fund it, and we'll reimburse you through the farm market program, so.
Will help the city out.
Is that the one on the
Be great.
south end?
East,
East,
out by their lagoons.
yeah,
Okay,
so we procured $170,000 funding from the state for that project. So that's the update.
Alrighty. Sounds positive.
That's great. Mhm.
So these 7 counties will be all or none?
Yes. Yep, HDR's got a good reputation. They successfully did a raise grant last year that included Wright County, will be the closest county around us.
Okay.
That was included in that one. Clay County was one of the other ones last year.
More of the rural counties to get funds.
Right now, like I said, there's 7 counties all throughout Iowa, and we're applying for just under.
So ours is probably one of the smaller projects.
Because of the 2 million that we've already got procured
Mhm.
for the county bridge construction fund, yes.
And the raise is a federal one,
The
correct?
raise is a federal.
Yeah, that's what I thought, okay.
So applications have to be turned in by the end of February.
so if all the things fell in place, it still would be in the 27 year,
Yes,
it's still a long way down,
it's so long.
but there's a lot of,
Environmental hoops and that need to be required. I've got 2 engineering firms giving us bid for services right now, Chuck Britson to continue working on it, and Bolton me.
Okay.
Anything else from anybody? Dave,
Thank you.
thank
you
you.
bet. Thank you, Ben.
Tuesday I was up here for the safety meeting. Wednesday I was down at Fort Dodge for a Midas meeting. And they're still shorthanded. Working on after the holidays and putting applications out there, and notices out to the schools and advertising again for planners. People, so. Humboldt County, we're still missing 1 bus driver. That's all I have. On Wednesday, the 6th, that afternoon, we had a combination between the EMA and 911 executive committees met for a budget review. Moving forward, we're working on budgets, obviously, we all will be. That went quite well, good discussion, we just wanted to get a head start on that, so we did, and that worked out, that was very good. And then on Thursday, early that morning, because I had an excellent driver, which was Sandy, and I attended the District 2 Supervisors meeting at Charles City. And we did great till we got there, then we did tour the town for a few
We did,
minutes, just
yep.
because of the one-way streets and such, but
Yeah.
we were still early.
Challenge
Yeah.
getting around in there.
It is, we should have took that first, and it didn't look right, and
Yeah,
then we
well-
ended up having to go around like, oh, well,
Yeah, it was
We got to
great,
see
it was
more
nice,
things.
so
We
really, we
did,
kind of
yeah.
got a bigger appreciation for the area.
right, right, there you go.
So Sandy's an excellent driver, I personally, and I told Sandy this too on the way home, I mean, it's a good meeting, it
Mhm.
really, I honestly better than what I thought. It did get a little time crunched at the end, because it didn't start until 10. They did have a fair contingent of, state legislative people there. District 2, we are on the basically southwest corner of District 2, and it goes all the way to the Cora.
It's all
Well,
north.
Alameda too.
Alameda,
Goes all
yeah,
the
it
way
goes
to
basically all the way
Clayton.
northeast Iowa.
Yeah, it goes north, yeah.
So Interesting.
Yeah, it used to be a 4-hour meeting. 2 hours in the morning and 2 in the
Yeah.
afternoon years ago.
So they did, for the folks there, decided they'd at least start it at 9:30. And, you know, I guess you never know how many legislators will show up.
Right.
If you have one or
There was
two,
good question.
a
and answer.
nice panel of them
Mhm.
from the different districts represented in District
Yeah.
2. So that was good. I'm not gonna bore you with the details, but there is one of the handouts. I do want to mention something. I'm actually gonna give this to our custodian, to Paul. Fine gentleman supervisor from Dallas County, is not in District 2, but means he knew that this was a meeting of our district supervisors. He mentioned a couple of things, and one thing is there's a company that does it's a very new process of water stoppage in old buildings. I'm pretty sure we're sitting in an old building, and they have done things that it's basically keeps the water infiltration so it doesn't ruin your foundation. And it was a huge deal to Dallas County, huge deal.
Yeah.
Because they were having major problems and they didn't want, obviously, to build a new courthouse. They wanted to be able to repair their old.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna pass this on to Paul, but that was just a side thing. He said that too, but that was very interesting.
Yeah, but he also mentioned, they used to have 40,000 people, up to 100 and some thousand.
Yeah, bear in mind,
In that county.
Waukee is in Dallas County.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, they're
yeah, I know.
like
Like,
exploding.
yeah, they are. Like,
So
wow.
their situation and our situation isn't the same anymore.
No,
But by the same token, as Andy said, the northeast counties in this
Mhm.
district, a lot of small counties, a lot of small
Mhm.
population
we're a
counties.
very, very small district. I mean, as far as population
It's
wise,
much more applicable.
very vast, but,
Yeah, they don't have people there.
yeah, geographically, it's very big, but.
But that was good.
Mhm.
And
it's very good.
yeah. it
Well,
was-
Dean from Wright County said several of the legislators got an earful about some of the
Perfect.
funding and the way things are being done.
They did.
And he said that he thinks that they may have got an eye-opening.
They did.
Earful
Mhm.
is the way he put it
There's-
on our meeting Thursday night.
They
I said,
did,
good for you.
yeah, that was big differential between a county our size and Dallas County being able to say whatever they grew.
Right,
It makes a huge difference.
right. And like they said, they were telling about their levy was like 2.7. Well, yeah, when you got that many people, you can.
Mhm.
You know, I was sitting next
Yes.
to, I can't think of what Sandy's last name was, but she was a House representative and now she's a senator. Sweeney? Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Thank you. And I said, you know, you guys pass these things and you have no idea
How they affect.
how they affect us. And Lucas brought that up. I can't remember what bill got passed 10 years ago, but there's still ramifications from that. And we still don't know the HF 7158. Yeah, I mean, what that's all gonna help or
Things that
hurt us
will
for,
shake out is what he kind of
for
said.
our levy and things like that, how that's gonna affect us.
And you,
And
I mean, here we're just lowly supervisors in a small county, but
mhm,
we're not, I mean, this is more the norm in the state of Iowa than
Mhm.
not.
right,
You would think the people representing the state would realize that and say, hey, we represent these, low population counties.
right,
How did they pass that?
yeah.
How did they
Well,
not,
if
how did they not make?
Well, it's because they wanna get down to zero state tax.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna get all pushed on the counties. And we talked about that on unfunded mandates. I mean, you can't keep pushing this back to the counties. And I said to her too, I said, you gotta realize, if there's, okay, we're not in kindergarten anymore. Don't do a corporal punishment for everybody. If there's counties that are hoarding money or, got their coffers full, work on those, work on the larger counties that have that ability to do that. Don't penalize the small ones. And she just kind of like,
Well, that's too
she's
much.
very, very nice. But
They were
I don't
all
think-
nice.
They were all very nice, but I don't think any of them really realized what they voted on.
No,
I
really
agree.
don't.
I
don't
thought
think
that was
any of
my
them-
take on it. It's like, these people are, most of the state is probably more like us than
Yes,
like Polk and Dallas County.
Yeah,
It's, there's 99 counties, and if you took the percentage, most of them are rural.
right,
Oh, yeah.
So
you
how-
take
how did these
four-
rural
four counties
legislators-
Out, the rest is rural.
because they got bullied to do it. It's a trifecta.
Mhm.
And until people start voting their conscience instead of voting party line. And I'm a Republican, I'll be the first one to say, it, but you gotta stand up for what's right. You
Yeah.
cannot just go along with the group. If it's not the right thing to do, then you've gotta stand up and do it.
I don't really think they did their due diligence and their homework on the
No,
thinking, it sounds great, but when you look into it,
I don't even
It
think
is-
any of them really even researched it, because
I don't think so.
whenever I talk to somebody, they're like, oh, we didn't realize that, really? You know,
it
'cause I-
sounds like
I-
a great deal,
It
but
did, it's, well, they're gonna say property tax, and that's what our voters want, we want our property taxes, which everybody does, nobody wants to have higher property taxes. But everybody wants services too.
Mhm.
there's a fine line.
Okay, so I'm off
Well,
my bandwagon,
I mean,
I will
it-
shut up and be quiet now.
Like you said, we're straight
Property
counties that are
taxes gone
growing.
up is because they passed the farm bill 5 years ago, and rolled back farm assessments
Mhm.
10%.
Yeah,
And then made the cap that you couldn't raise it more than 2%.
Yeah,
mhm.
Or
That-
they rolled it back 30%.
30%.
30%, 3%.
and there's a 3% increase, so it's gonna
3%
take
increase, so
10
that's
years
10
to
years.
get
Yeah.
back to where you
That's the
were.
bill he was
Yes.
talking about, that was. the
Still
bill he
having
was talking about. Yeah,
ramifications.
still having ramifications, yeah.
And this
that's the
one
bill.
will as well.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, so, I mean,
I actually
we would
did
love to be
before.
able to do everything for everybody, but. I mean, we don't know where our budget's gonna shake out yet. Right?
Right, we have a webinar this week
That's what they mentioned about that. too.
and hopefully it'll explain some of it.
Yeah,
Cause I
it's
think
just,
a lot of us are like, whoa.
yeah, it's just getting scary. And
Overwhelming.
everybody, all the supervisors talked about it. They were all fearful.
Mhm.
Except for the Dallas.
Unless
County.
you're from Dallas. County.
Yeah.
He's not
The
in
Dallas
District
County
two.
guy, he was just
I
like.
don't think there was anybody from District 2 that could make that claim.
No, no,
But they ain't gained how many tens of thousands.
Right.
right.
Property, or tax.
Most everybody's census went down. Ours went down. I mean,
Alma Keys, or Winnebago and that
Winnebago.
area, those northeastern counties.
Clayton, Alameda, all those.
Oh,
All the rural, and the whole thing,
Rural.
and, we talked about that too, about losing our brain pool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we need to figure out some way to keep our best and brightest, I don't care what they do, in our areas. And, we don't wanna lose them, I mean, I know we'll never be a Des Moines, we'll never be even, Mason City's close enough to the cities, and things like that, but still, we've gotta figure out some way of keeping people in our counties, keeping our young, bright people.
What about our old, right people?
Well, our old bright people, I know, but we're,
We like to keep
us
them.
old bright
Bruce, we like to
people
keep
are.
them.
I just thought I'd throw that in there for,
We like to keep them too.
Yeah, but we gotta get, it's just like the churches, you gotta get your youth in.
You gotta get them involved.
Yes,
Well, that's all that I had, and Sandy and I for that meeting, and obviously you can tell it was pretty good, brought up a lot of good
a lot of
conversation.
good, yeah.
Yeah, I had no meetings. I planned on attending that one, but
Yeah.
hadn't.
We know,
interruption.
Rick let us
Yeah.
know, yep.
Had an interruption. I couldn't make it.
My daughters want to know if they can come and meet your interruptions.
Anytime.
this time of year, he loves kids.
Yeah.
All right, on Thursday, the 7th, I had CFR Zoom, which went fairly good. Or is it those, sometimes they get a little argumentative, but they were pretty good. I don't know how many phone calls I got from people in the Rutland area, probably more than
I got you on speed dial.
pretty much. I was told what was going on pretty much on an hourly basis. So Saturday I drove out by to see some of the sites, and actually, I think it was Wednesday night, I got a phone call that somebody was moving equipment at night, and which I told them, you know what, that's part of our job. So anyway, I do know that our sheriff was called, who informed some, the DOT and also the highway patrol, so phone calls were made. I would also, Rick, you made a comment last week after the drainage meeting about putting, that Wright County pipeline. Are we gonna ordinance that they've already got? Basically, all we have to use it as we
Template.
don't have any pipelines through here yet. And I guess I just.
And they might look at us and say, oh, there's a county that we can go through without any
Correct.
problems.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
they have that as a template that we can basically change names and put it into effect and cover ourselves. So I think that we'd be dumb if we don't do that, move forward.
I had a note on that too. We need to get that done.
Well, he brought that up down at Fort Dodge and,
Yep.
and I guess
And
I,
that's something that IDDA would work on with many counties and kind of got the wrinkles out of it.
okay,
Is that
So-
one Wright County?
That's the one Wright County
Well, like
utilized.
Bruce said, you can almost just a cut and paste and just get that. Put it on this Humboldt County and get it adopted.
I think that the only one we'll have to worry about is that one supervisor from Wright County that we copied them, but I'm willing to take the heat from him, so.
Good, thank you for taking one for the team. Keep complaining if you.
Oh, I know.
Okay.
I know, but I just think we should do it and get it in place so that we're,
I
At
agree with
least-
Bruce wholeheartedly.
well, we need to look at all our ordinances as far as setbacks and things like
And,
that.
and you know,
everything, just
that
get it.
ordinance also covers like the power lines that they use for wind generation, solar fields, all that's covered under that same ordinance. Because we gotta protect our infrastructure.
Right,
Yeah, good point, Bruce.
well, I've done something good then today, so we'll. just
there
leave
you
it at
go. Is that it then, Bruce?
That's it.
Okay, Tuesday, I had the safety meeting in the courthouse, and then we went to Charles City for the District 2 meeting.
Usually it snows on that day. See what
No,
you
it was
guys
a
did?
I know,
beautiful
Right?
day.
You know what,
Almost
Dean?
always
You didn't go,
miserable.
that's probably the nicest day they've ever had it. I think a couple other people mentioned that.
Yeah,
It
Last
was,
time
it's
I went-
always nasty.
yeah, it's
Carl,
always bad.
I was in the back seat of Carl's van. and
You didn't.
Carl was driving.
Yeah,
Yeah, I rode up with Carl many times.
well,
Well, they can't have it at the Elk Club anymore because they
Nobody's a
don't have
member.
the supervisor that was a member is no
no,
longer retired.
It was a pretty good
But
venue.
yeah, it
It
was
was.
a little noisy at times,
Yeah.
cause there's glass around there, you know, so it
Or
is.
their
a
meeting
bar,
room
yeah.
wasn't real quiet.
No, but for the most
The
part,
food is really good place to eat.
it was
Yeah.
very good, yeah.
And that's right there where their dam is, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Part of their river
and
system.
Sandy, the other thing I'd like to bring up is our bikes program that we
Yes.
talked about last week. We had someone take the initiative and worked her tail off all week.
Susan did a great job. We
So
appreciate it.
she was
Susan.
out thumping the trees, the bushes, wherever
Yep.
she could get somebody to listen to her. And I think she's gonna save the Christmas for the bikes. I'm hopeful that her and
Going down there this morning with money and the bikes that I collected, and turn it over to.
Elizabeth, so
Jen said
Excellent.
she had some,
We
so I'll
thank
stop
you.
down at the church and get it, and then I'll bring it to the.
That sounds good.
Okay, all right.
we thank you very much for your
You're welcome.
help.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else?
Just moving forward in the coming future, near future. And before I forget about it, there it is. If it's on this or not. What I was gonna tell you, is a reminder, by the end of January, we have to adopt good, bad, and probably indifferent. The master matrix through the state as every year.
Oh, yeah.
That's required. I don't know if it's on this, paid handout from the meeting. There was talk, or there was something, oh, yes, there is, it is on here. The legislative policy statements, there's, don't hold your breath. But they put it on their policy statement for the state to review it.
You know,
Don't hold your breath, but, and that wasn't a big topic of discussion at the meeting, but it is on the handout, so.
Mhm.
we'll do that in January as per usual, but it kind of tied in. I thought I'd seen that. Maybe the state will address that to a degree this next session. The statewide supervisors meeting is February 7th this year. Registration is open and typically we just all register, or
Right.
I would ask our illustrious auditor if she would be so good as to register everybody like we actually,
All of you?
unless somebody's not gonna go. We typically do get down to that.
Okay.
Is that the one at,
Embassy
Embassy?
Suite, yeah.
Yeah, Embassy Suites, yeah.
That's always a
Yep.
cold day
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not a warm day.
And I was, I'm glad you brought- I was gonna try to find, there's also a
Wednesday.
2-day meeting. No, that's the wrong button. Your phone's only as good as what the person hitting them.
Your fingers did a lot of them.
Yeah. Yeah. You have until January 25th to register, but it's February 8th.
Okay.
The eighth?
Or wait, no, that's an 8.
No,
It's
yeah,
got two
it is.
different days,
It
yeah.
is probably.
Statewide supervisors meeting.
It is the
will be
8th, you're
held
right.
On Thursday, the
You
8th.
can go and stay overnight on the 7th.
7th.
Oh,
Sorry, I was
yeah.
reading the
Well,
8th.
okay.
It is
Some
the
people
8th.
go there the night before.
Right.
They set up
Rasmussen,
early.
not to mention any names.
Right.
No, I like driving.
And,
Good, cause I might be going with you. When
um,
Bruce has taken me down there before.
trying to find that other, one. There's one in January, they've got some
ISAC
really good,
University,
yeah, ISAC, we've got some really good,
That's a,
Thanks.
out on West Des Moines, isn't it?
I think it's actually gonna be at ISAC University. Here, I found it. Okay. ISAC University, January 17th and 18th at, the Meadows event. Yep,
Uh-oh.
January 17 and 18. And you have registration till January 4th. And we've got some really good, things. I'll plug the education.
It's out of
community.
Prairie Meadows.
It's out of Prairie Meadows, yeah. Meadow, yeah.
that's all
I'll do
on the ISAC website, and now you
Mhm.
mention it,
Oh,
Sandy, I
yeah.
think there's of course several ISAC representatives there.
Yep.
They mentioned some of these upcoming,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that's,
But I think you and I talked once, Bruce, and you said you did kind of get some of the basics, to hear some of that stuff again, because it's been a while since some of us have, gone, and we're also they're doing huge leadership at the university, ISAC leader. So that's that was their kind of their push on. We're trying to get more leadership things in. Okay. All right. Anything for anybody else?
I just wanted those reminders, I would, make a motion that we adjourn. Second.
Okay. It is
You didn't-
9:03.
I told you you wouldn't make